right into it. Okay, so these are functions like you probably can guess what these do, right? We've seen similar types of functions before, right? We've seen on mouse press and on mouse release, right? And on key press is the exact same thing, right? Nothing about what this function does is new or different or exciting, right? So on key press is going to let you accept user input via the keyboard. So when the user presses a key, something will happen, right? In the same way that when the user clicks the mouse, something will happen, right? So not a lot's going to change, but we needed to wait on this because onKeyPress has a lot more possibilities, right? On mouse press is just like left click, done, right? So we don't really have the need to like use an if statement, right? But now that we're talking about onKeyPress and there's so many keys on the keyboard, now we have a lot more reason for it, right? So let's hop in and take a look at a quick example, right, in the sandbox, right? So we're going to define on key press, okay, on key press, okay? And in the parentheses, we can put anything we want. I usually use key, right? But you can call this anything you want. It's just a variable name, nothing exciting, right? And so now that we get on the inside, here's where the new stuff comes in, right? Usually when we were doing like on mouse press, the parameter, or I'm sorry, on mouse press, the parameters were, you know, the location of the mouse. Now we're receiving the key, right? So if we want a specific key to do a specific thing, right, we have to actually specify that. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to say if whatever variable's up in this parameter spot, right, whatever you put right here, right, we're going to check that. Mine's called key, right? So I'm going to say if that is equal to, and I'm using two equal signs because that's how we check the condition, right? And then I'm going to use a single quote and I can put whatever key I want, right? So in this case, I'm going to say W, right? If key equals W, okay, then we want something to happen. So let's make this a little bit more fancy. So we're going to say, let's create a label, write it 200, 200, okay, and we're going to say, oh, I think it's got to be the label first, right? So we're going to say, you win, okay? We're going to put it at 200, 200, and I'm just going to say it's going to be, I think, size 30, okay, and we're going to align center, right? Just so that the center of the label is what's at 200, 200, right? So what I'm going to actually do, because I don't have all this stuff memorized, is I'm just going to do a quick check of my label, okay? And we're going to make sure we do this. So the value is first, so that was what we wanted typed. Here's the center location, the size. I didn't do a font, right? And then I decided to align center. So this all looks okay, right? So let's see what happens here, okay? I'm going to click run, and I'm clicking on the screen, nothing's happening, but when I hit the W key, oh, I got an error message. Let's find out what happened. This takes 3 arguments, value, center X, center Y, not 4. Oh, I have to actually say that this is size equals, right? So when you're doing the size, all right, I think it's font equals, no, size, I was right, size equals 12, right? So I have to actually specify that one, okay? So let's try again. So I hit the W key, okay? There it is, you win. It waited until I hit the W key, okay? Let's run it again. If I hit a different key, I'm gonna hit like the K key. Nothing's happening, right? I'm hitting all these other keys, nothing's happening. When I hit the W key, it says you win, right? So I can actually now add to this if I want and say else, okay? Okay. Now let's do an elif. Elif key equals, we'll say T, okay? I can say, let's do another label. We'll do this exact same thing here, okay? And we're going to change the label instead to be maybe like try again, right? So try again. Ooh. All right, so now if I run it and I hit my W key, there it is. It says you win. If I hit my the F key, nothing happens because I didn't have a condition for F, right? If I hit the T key, there it is. Now it's saying try again, right? So you can see that I'm able to specify individual keys that I want to do specific things, right? And then if I want to cover all of the keys on the keyboard, that's when I'll use my else statement, right? So I'm going to say else, let's make a label that says you lose, okay? So I'm going to run this one, right? So now if I hit the W key, it says you win. If I hit the T key, it says try again. If I hit any other key, like I hit the U key, it says you lose, right? So I'm able to specify a bunch of different keys, okay? As you're going through, you'll have to figure out what some of these keys are. I'm pretty sure the docs does not specify every single key, okay? So you'll have to actually look up as you're going through. Let's see if there's a way to do keys, okay? onKeyPress, okay? There should be a list somewhere of all the keys. I don't see them now. Okay. So things like spacebar or space and enter is enter, right? So as you're going through, like you'll see in those individual programs that they will guide you through how to type in that specific key. So like if I wanted spacebar, I'm pretty sure it's just the word space, right? So now if I hit spacebar, it works, right? I believe enter, okay, lets me do enter, okay? And I think it's, let's try up for up key, okay? Yep, if I hit the up, it's up key, right? So I can use any of these different left, gets me the left key, right? So I can do any of those as I'm going through, right? And anything else that's more specific than that, you'll figure out as you go, right? So that's all the onKeyPress is. We do have to use the if statements if we want to specify a specific key. However, okay, if we don't want to specify a key and we want to just let the user type in anything, like if we get any user input at all, then something's going to happen, right? So let's do this again. I'm going to get rid of all this. We're going to get rid of our if statement. And the only thing I'm going to write is I'm going to say object, okay, center x plus equals 10. Well, we'll do this. We'll draw a circle. Okay. Object. So this is a variable called object equals circle. We'll start it at 0, 200. We'll make it 50 wide. All right, let's see what that looks like. Okay. So there it is. I have this circle. It's half off the screen right now, right? But what this is saying is when you press any key, because I didn't use an if statement here to specify that I want them to type the letter W or the letter Q or the right arrow key, right? I'm saying if any key is pressed, go to object, find the center X value, add 10 to it, right? So if I hit spacebar right now, you can see it's moving across the screen. If I hit the G key, moving across the screen. If I hit the number 7, it's moving across the screen, right? So it doesn't matter what key I press because I did not use an if statement, right? I'm going to get this moving across the screen for any key at all, right? So that's a big important difference, right? When I'm talking about if statements, I can specify a specific value. If I write something like this without an if statement, I can use it's almost like press any key to continue, right? And that's really what's happening here, okay? onKeyRelease, I'm not even going to do an example. It's literally the exact same thing as keypress, except it's not going to happen when I press the key down. It's going to happen when I press the key back up. So let's do something. We'll do a quick example. I'll see if I can expand this one. So I'm going to say def onKeyRelease. Okay, and I'll use key again, right? Because these are local variables, which means the key does not change. This is going to cause object, we'll change center Y plus equals 10. And see what happens, okay? So here's what I'm claiming is going to happen. Okay, let's run this. Before I actually touch anything, let's read the code, okay? What this is saying is when you take the object, which is a circle, and you press any key, it's going to add 10 to X, which means it's going to move to the right by 10 units. Then when I release any key, whatever, which is probably going to be the key that I pressed, okay, it's going to make the Y value increase by 10, which is going to cause the shape to actually go down. So watch what happens. When I hit like the 4 key, it goes to the right, and when I let go, it goes down, right? When I hit the R key, it goes to the right by 10. When I let go, it goes down, right? So onKeyRelease is actually waiting for me to let go of the key before it executes its code, right? And this is kind of fun because we can actually use this for things like toggling. So like if I take my circle here and I say fill equals red, right? And we'll get rid of this and we'll say, let's take objects fill and change it to blue, okay? And I'll take objects fill here and change it to back to red, right? So now let's see what happens. Let's see if it likes my code, okay? So now let's move this over. It's kind of, we'll put it right in the middle now because we're not moving it, okay? So this is going to be at 200 again, okay? So now I'm going to run, okay? And so now what happens is I'm claiming if you press any key, change the object fill to blue, and when you let go of any key, change it back to red. So here's what's going to happen. If I press, it's blue. When I let go, it's red. So we can kind of have fun with a toggling type thing like this, where when I press a key, something happens. When I let go, it might go back to its original state, right? So that's kind of a fun little use of keypress and keyRelease together to change something, and then when you let go, change it back, right? So that's all onKeyPress and onKeyRelease are. They're fun new functions that use the if statements to our advantage, so we can specify what key we want, or maybe no key at all. If we don't put an if statement, it will use any key on the whole keyboard. Okay, so if you found this helpful, please hit the like button. Please subscribe to the channel. I'll be putting up content for the rest of the course, and we'll be doing specific examples from each unit. And leave any comments below if you have questions, clarifications about specific topics using onKeyPress and onKeyRelease, or exercises from CMU, and I'll be answering those in the comments below. Thanks for watching. Have a good day.